Welcome back. U.S. Vice President JD Vance is on his very first visit to India. He is being accompanied by his Indian origin wife, Usha Vance, and the three children, Ivan, Vivek, and Mirabel. The Vance family earlier visited the Swaminarayan Akshardham Mandir as well as the Central Cottage Industry Emporium in the national capital. Now, all eyes are on the bilateral with Prime Minister Modi. Remember, Vice President Vance's visit comes after US President Donald Trump imposed and then paused a sweeping tariff regime against 60 countries. It also comes in the wake of New Delhi and Washington holding negotiations to seal a bilateral trade agreement that is expected to address a variety of issues, including tariff and market access. As India and US eye augmenting bilateral trade to $500 billion, the Modi-Vance meeting is expected to pave the way for deeper cooperation in various sectors, including defense, technology, and trade. Meanwhile, India is all set to send a team of 5 to 6 negotiators led by Additional Commerce Secretary Rajesh Agarwal to the US on the 23rd of April. Well, at this point in time, first up, joining us on the show is Ambassador Kanwal Sibal, former Foreign Secretary of India. Sir, appreciate you joining us. First up, do you expect a monumental announcement from JD Vance Modi meeting?
Monumental is a very, very big word. You know, it began as a private visit and it has been now converted into an official one. And rightly so, because if you convert it to an official one, then the protocol changes and you can therefore receive him more ceremonially and also arrange calls on him by the foreign minister, the national security advisor, etc., etc. So it's a good thing this has been done because JD Vance is a very powerful figure in the new administration, as we know, and he's taking a lot of interest in foreign policy, which means therefore that with regard to India-US relationship, he will be playing a role in addition to that of the Secretary of State and the National Security Advisor. Our relationship with the United States is now the most important relationship we have across the board. There are difficulties, undoubtedly. President Trump is very mercurial, unpredictable, and he has now put the cat amongst the global pigeons with his tariff policies, and India has also been targeted. And we have to handle this as carefully as we can. We've already talking to the United States about this. We had anticipated that these problems would arise. And therefore, the visit of Vice President Vance is timely. This will be in addition to all the other conversations we've had at the level of the Commerce Minister, even the Commerce Secretary, Additional Commerce. The new Commerce Secretary designate is also going to Washington. And during Vance's visit, there'll be an opportunity to discuss this and try and steer the entire process in a way that we can, as far as possible, protect ourselves against the kind of concerns that we have with regard to the consequences of this tariff on our exports to the United States, not forgetting that the biggest economic partner we have today is the United States, if we combine goods and services exports to the US. And therefore, this will be an opportunity to express our concerns and try and build a scenario in which, while we open up our market to more American goods, in return we get something from the Americans, so that it's a win-win situation.
So India has said that no trade negotiations will happen at gunpoint. How do you see India's approach to this kind of a deal?
Well, you know, this business about no negotiations at gunpoint, this is not the, I mean, this can be said, this needs to be said because we have to also assure our public opinion that we are not going to do exactly what the Americans may want us to do, because they will ask the maximum from us. And there are areas in which we cannot really open up our market to the Americans in the way they may desire, especially the agricultural market. And this is an extremely sensitive issue in India. Uh, the Americans have made it clear that they want us to open this market. To some extent, we may open this up. Uh, there are areas in which we can do that. With regard to, uh, bourbon whiskey or high-end motorcycles and this and that, one doesn't see much of a problem. Even with regard to dry fruit and whatever, I suppose we can make some concession. But when it comes to dairy products, there are issues. When it comes to uh, genetically modified uh, uh, products, there are issues, and we can't really write on the dotted line. It'll be a process of negotiations. The Americans will try to maximize their demands, and we will have to then stand firm on some things and also satisfy them on some others, so that on the whole, it is a positive outcome which satisfies the Americans and also satisfies us. So I won't take this business about not negotiating at gunpoint too seriously. We're not looking for a confrontation, and the Americans would be foolish to put our back against the wall to the extent on some issues we will have to say no. So it's a process of negotiation. Let's not get too worried.
And so, what, according to you, are the challenges in executing this India-US trade deal?
Well, the challenges are that uh, American demands have been made clear. The USTR, in its report, has raised a lot of issues with regard to the Indian market. President Trump has got this thing in his head that India is the tariff king, whereas in fact our trade deficit with the United States is much less than that it has with its other partners, whether it is China or the EU or Vietnam or Canada or Mexico. We are number 10, only $46 billion. And also, if you look at the weighted tariffs that India has against the United States, they are high, yes, but they're not that high either. And if you go product by product, there are products on which the tariffs are also pretty low. But the USTR and the American side wants to raise a much larger canvas of issues, not limited only to tariffs, but also the regulatory process, also the genetically modified organisms, also animal feed, which goes into dairy products. They want us to open up that. Then the whole data localization business. This they also want to raise, and the non-tariff barriers in general. So it's a complicated discussion. It's not an easy discussion. And therefore, to think that we are going to have a multi-sector trade agreement in 90 days, to my mind, is not realistic. What can happen is that in these 90 days, we can create the basis, a realistic basis, a mutually acceptable basis for more intensive follow-up discussions, so that by the time President Trump comes for the Quad Summit, hopefully in September, October, or whenever, we'll be able to sign the first tranche of a multi-sector trade agreement.
And so, with Tahawwur Rana being handed over, where do you see India-US counter-terrorism collaboration heading next?
Well, the fact that Rana has got extradited is a positive thing, and we'll be able now, after interrogating him, actually probe the depth of the conspiracy on the Pakistan side and the people involved. So that's a good thing. And this counterterrorism cooperation has been going on for some time. Whether this has been good enough, deep enough, broad enough, I'm not too sure. Because when it came to Stephen Hadley, or Hadley rather, whatever his name is, not Stephen Hadley, we didn't get access. We didn't get to extradite him either. And then when it comes to all these Khalistani goons who are running around in the United States, Panoon and others, we have yet to see what the American side does with regard to curbing these people who threaten India's sovereignty and territorial integrity and promote terrorism in Punjab. We have also seen how tough the administration is with Pakistan, because the source of terrorism against India is Pakistan. And in the past, the United States, while they have cooperated with us to some extent, have not put the kind of pressure that they needed to put on Pakistan. Then when it comes to Bangladesh, there are issues that are arising, and Bangladesh in the past has been the staging point of insurgency against India. Islamist insurgency also, Islamic elements also are active in Bangladesh. We'll have to see how much cooperation we get from the United States. So I would say that definitely we'll get more cooperation from the Trump administration, because Trump himself has been very vocal about Islamic terrorism. But whether we get full satisfaction, we'll see.
Well, so terrorist gangster Happy Pasiya has been arrested in the United States as well. Do you see that change when it comes to US dealing with Khalistanis under Trump than Joe Biden?
I think so. I think under Biden, these elements were given a big room, to conduct their very objectionable activities. And there was a belief that, rightly or wrongly, that Panoon was being protected by the CIA and by the FBI, because he was saying all kinds of totally atrocious things and threatening Indian Parliament, the Indian airline, our New Delhi International Airport, threatening to blow up our airlines during a particular period, and advising people not to travel, etc., and nothing was being done. Now with Tulsi Gabbard there, the Director of National Intelligence, and we know her thinking and views on such elements, I think we'll get better cooperation from the United States with regard to the activities of these Khalistani elements.
So appreciate you taking out the time and speaking with us. Real valuable inputs here. All right, we're going to talk about this with our guests as well. Joining us on the program at this point in time is Ambassador Suresh Kumar Goel, former diplomat. Quinton A. Hitchcock, American political consultant, also with us on the broadcast. Ninad Seth, foreign affairs expert, joins us on the show as well. Elizabeth Laris, Professor Emerita of Political Science, University of Mary Washington. Pathikrit Pine, geopolitical expert, is also joining us momentarily on the broadcast. Ambassador Goel, I'll begin